Ever since Daisy the cow went on leave, the town of Mouville was in a tizzy. Suddenly, everyone was diving into discussions about alternative calcium sources. Daisy was the town's beloved milk supplier, but with her luxuriating on the beach, the townsfolk were left pondering their calcium intakes like never before. "We can't rely on Daisy's milk forever," proclaimed Farmer Joe, twirling his straw hat like an Olympic discus thrower. "We need alternatives." The townsfolk gathered at the Mouville Community Center, an establishment grandly secured by hay bales and sheer optimism. The meeting opened with Mrs. Nutmeg, the local nutritionist and part-time flea circus trainer, sprawling a list on the chicken whiteboard. "Fear not, for I've uncovered a treasure trove of calcium-rich edibles that are the new utterly delightful champions." First off was yogurt, her creamy confidant. "Imagine a tiny cow in every cup," she giggled, "though I advise you to not imagine it too literally, as swallowing a tiny cow might derail your digestion plans. Anyway, Greek, Icelandic, or plain old regular, 415 milligrams per cup to keep your bones praising all the pantheons." The sardines swam in next, self-proclaimed bone-in fishes, flopping 351 milligrams of calcium per can onto the table, pleasantly shocking Frederick, who until that pouting moment thought sardines only existed to trouble pizzas. "They're a real catch," exclaimed Frederick, eyeing them with suspicion and slight admiration. Then, heralded in like royalty, were the collard greens, dressed in lush velvety green, boasting 402 milligrams. "Let's not turn our noses up at these leafy wonderlanders. They're the royal court jester to your bone court," Mrs. Nutmeg enthused. "But what about juice?" piped up a child, whose preference for sipping outweighed crunch and chew. "Enter fortified orange juice, the citrusy liquid night dawning 349 milligrams. Not just vitamin C," Mrs. Nutmeg quipped, "but also cram-packed with calcium. Remember, it's OJ, with a little more hip-hop swing to it." On and on the list went, with sesame seeds, fortified soy milk, mozzarella, and salmon joining the calcium orchestra. Mozzarella played its cheesy solo proudly, while Parmesan was the hard-as-nails maestro, leading the cheese chorus with 335 milligrams per ounce. By the time Mrs. Nutmeg wrapped up her presentation with a cheddar flair, the townsfolk were sighing sounds of dental delight. Their calcium concerns evaporated like Daisy's chocolate chip cookie, which was shockingly not on the list. And thus, with newfound wisdom tucked in their knowledge pockets, the townsfolk vowed to explore these alternatives until Daisy's triumphant return. Meanwhile, somewhere on a remote shore, Daisy the cow raised her coconut juice in agreement.